Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Trent and Zyori podcast. For some reason, Trent's camera looks extra small in the overlays. I'll fix that in a moment, but we're back again. This is podcast number 148. It's June 7th, 2019, 10:30 a.m. here on the mountains of America. Trent, how you doing, my friend? Back again, another podcast, hot off your pub win with your good buddies. It was a pleasure to watch, my friend. How you doing? Uh-oh. We lost your audio again, Trent. The old...
All right. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of that lately, the whole playing Dota thing. It's pretty awesome, not gonna lie. It feels really good to just be home and play a poop load of Dota.
Yeah, it's a nice change of pace after casting so much. I always get that feeling after doing a pretty long casting grind of like, dude, I just want to fucking play now. You know, I just want to get into some games. I just want to play some pubs. I want to talk some shit. I want to win some MMR. You've been winning your games? You've been going well?
Yeah, most of them. Lots of good games. I think that's why my stock was rising so high in the Rivals thing, was all of my gameplay.
Oh,
people
right.
were hearing how I was just absolutely dominating, so that's what happened there.
Oh, I see. That's why you were a second round draft.
Oh, what was that? Did you say second round? Oh, it was a second round.
Wow.
I
know. I was stunned, and I quote from Cinderin. Trent highly overrated in the drafting phase. He labeled me as I was third to last, something like that. He valued me as an underrated, a sleeper at that point. He was like, well, I felt lucky that you were still in the pool at that stage. It was between you and Lyrical. I'm like, wow, thanks, Sin. That's really... No, we're going to dive into Twitch really Rivals for sure. Kind of like a medley of topics to cover this week. The minor starts in 6 days or so. That's going to be the starladder minor in Kiev, last minor of the circuit. I don't know if we're going to do, are we going to do a preview podcast before then, or should we dive into it now a little bit early and make this kind of our minor preview?
That's a good question. I guess might as well talk about it now. We're probably not going to do another one before that starts.
Yeah. Okay, probably not. 6 days is pretty close. So we'll definitely dive into the minor, especially with ESL now completed. We've got some recent results, some upsets there. Somebody called it, at least a little bit. Gambit, the dark horse, they made a run, and I'm proud of my boys. I had some confidence. Unfortunately, I didn't watch that much ESL Birmingham because we were casting WePlay. But we'll talk about the results. We'll kind of go through some of the big moments. You guys in Twitch chat might have actually digested more of that event than we did, unfortunately. But, Trent, my friend, we've got one thing to get out of the way first. Of course, this podcast is sponsored by Rivalry.com, one of the most trusted sources for betting in esports. So glad that we've got a recurring sponsor. I did actually misspeak a little bit last week. I said the first sponsor. We have had a sponsor before, DotaHaven.com. I forgot those guys. I did them wrong by forgetting that they had sponsored this podcast before, but Rivalry is our first recurring sponsor. They're back-to-back, week over week, and their support makes this podcast possible to do more often, bring more content to you guys, so we hope you can support Rivalry.com in turn, so much so that they will guarantee your first bet up to 25 euros. If you don't win, they'll refund it back. That's how much confidence they have in their platform, and if you can't bet, well, we've got the Thunderdome, Trent. We're going to talk about it here because we did some bets last week. We entered the Thunderdome, and this is for folks. It's completely free. You can enter from anywhere in the world. We did the ESL One Birmingham. I won 14 cents, Trent. I went 9-1. How'd you do?
I also went 9-1.
Okay. I wonder if we biffed the exact same one because I felt like it was a lock when I made it, and it ended up being kind of an upset. So the way it works, folks, there's just a straight cash prize pool, and depending on how many people participate and place in the top 3 positions here in terms of predictions, that's where the money comes out, and it gets broken down based on how many people are participating. So if you get all 10 right, you actually get a decent little payout there, $25. Below that, you're in the cents. You're in Zyori territory. So let's take a look at our predictions here, dude. I think I had
pretty crazy that only 10 people got it right.
Really?
Only 10 people got 10. Like, that's what it says, right? Only 10 players managed to get all 10 of their wins correct. So they won $25 each out of the 250 pool.
I see. Why can't I look at my picks? I looked at it earlier, and now I don't know how to get back to it. I feel like a dummy. It was the secret EG game. That was the one that I got wrong. I know I looked at it.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Oh, view pick sheet. There it is.
From the group stage, right? Because EG won that? Is that right?
Yeah. So I picked secret. I had called them to win the entire kit and caboodle. and I guess it was a bumpy road, huh? And EG took that actual match.
Yeah, that probably sounds correct because I think I also took all the under or the favorite teams except for like one, which I also got right, but then I got the EG one right or wrong rather.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. EG setting us both off to 9-1 land.
Yeah,
I believe.
Absolutely. So a lot of cool stuff over at Rivalry. They also create a lot of content. They support a lot of other content creators. So
they really do.
Yeah, if you're looking to bet in esports, man, Rivalry is the place. They are by far the best platform right now in terms of being very properly licensed. They strictly enforce age requirements before accepting bets. You have to verify your identity, which is good because it makes sure everything is legal and by the book. And they're also supporting a lot of really cool people, like right here. So anyway, let's dive into it, dude. Should we talk ESL Birmingham first? I think that makes sense chronologically.
Let's get that out of the way. That's the big tournament that happened. So now I believe we each predicted that a certain team would go top 4. I made a bold claim that the run would be by Forward Gaming. You know, with AUI at the helm, Pilot Eye coming in, they looked really good in the qualifiers. They went 7-0 in the major qualifiers. And then I thought with the new meta and patch that they were front runners to make a surprise run. They finished dead last alongside Alliance. Like, bottom of the barrel. They got the same prize pool that I got from Twitch Rivals yesterday. So put that in perspective.
Yeah.
Me and Pilot Eye made the same amount of money. In fact, Pilot Eye had a coach for this tournament, so he made less money going to ESL than I did playing Rivals yesterday.
Yeah, that is a kind of an alarming fact. Wow. So 9th to 10th, we had NIP and Keen Gaming, so they didn't really place too much better. Only winning $5,000 apiece there. So what happened? Any idea what went wrong with Forward for this event there, Trent?
Well, as you said, unfortunately, we were casting at night. So most of my Dota watching for ESL was listening to it while I fell asleep in the middle of the day to sleep for casting in the evening. There you go.
Yeah. So here we've got the you can finally show screen captures on the podcast now. Got the breakdown. So Team Secret taking first, EG second, PSG LGD third, and my dark horse, the Sleepers, Gambit, placing fourth. I think the big surprise for me outside of the Forward bomb out that you just mentioned, Team Liquid, 7th to 8th. Honestly expected them to perform a little bit better in this one. I thought they'd be closer to top 4 like where Gambit is rather than 7th to 8th.
I can't believe that the Gambit did it, though, dude. Your prediction was true.
Yeah.
Like, that's you actually, of all the teams, they were looking so questionable, and somehow they made fourth.
It's the FNG factor. I really think he's one of these guys that is good at figuring things out quickly. I think on new patches, in chaotic environments, like I think back to classic Na'Vi, dude, the chaos factor. They thrive in that environment. When the patch gets figured out, when the meta is established, it doesn't always necessarily have that like 10 out of 10 finesse, but when it's still getting figured out, man, that's their sweet spot. So I don't know.
Kudos to them, dude.
I need to go back and watch more of the games. I think that's really the moral of it. Looking at the bracket, so what ended up happening? EG made a run all the way through the upper bracket. I guess we can just hop back to it here.
This was, I mean, there was a lot of excitement, right? Because the only other tournament where they made it to the grand finals this year was MDL Macau, which Grant and Draskell and I were casting. And so I saw a lot of people like, oh my God, EG finally broke the curse. And then you also saw people in comments like, oh my God, you guys don't watch China Dota. They did this in China. It's kind of funny. Classic Reddit, finding some way to at least get mad. But they were right. EG had, in fact, already been to one grand finals this year. They lost it to Liquid when Liquid finally started their run back to a potential tier 1 team. And either way, though, obviously very exciting for them, even if it's not a DPC event, to kind of get the monkey off the back once more with a 2-0 in the upper bracket finals over LGD. I did get to catch some of that.
Yeah.
Those were pretty dominating performances, honestly. It's like 39-minute, 38-minute win. Both Leshraks. Oh, yeah, they got the Mars. I remember that. Like, some good-looking Dota from EG. And unfortunately, you take Secret to Game 5 as a challenge in itself, but having to win that Game 5 must just be the hardest thing in Dota right now.
Yeah, for sure. That lower bracket was interesting because this was the big upset over here. Gambit going 2-1 over Liquid, round 1 of the lower bracket. That was the knockout. That's a series I think probably worth going back and watching. That's one that I want to check out for sure. So Gambit made that run all the way up to round 3. Secret did the same thing on the other side. That's where they got knocked out by Secret for 4th, and then Secret eventually made that run up to the grand finals where, man, bumpy ride really is the way to put it. 2-1 in the lower bracket finals, even going 2-1 against TNC for elimination, and then, as you said, 5-game series for the grand finals. I'm sure ESL was happy with that, man. Mars in the last game as well. Jesus.
It really shows you, like, how insane group standings can be, because you compare, like, LGD went 7-3, Secret goes 6-4, and the road that LGD had to third, like to the lower bracket finals, versus how Secret get there, and you're just like, oh my god,
yeah,
that's awful.
Yeah, pretty cool format though. I feel like ESL has finally got it figured out a little bit.
Yeah, it's good. I'm very happy without the best of ones in the lower. Well, I mean, I still like best of ones sometimes, but it's nice to have a tournament where, you know, Liquid and Gambit got to do their full 2-1 kind of deal. Because I mean, I guess Gambit won game 1 anyway, but 3 games is important. One game can't really tell these stories. So.
I mean, this feels pretty good. How many days was this tournament? Actually, it was pretty long.
It was pretty short. No, 28th to the 2nd.
3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 game days, a Tuesday to Sunday. It's not that short. 6 is pretty good. That's a serious tournament.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. For some reason, I was thinking it was 1 less than that, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what was captain's draft? 5? 1 in the hotel, and then 2 in the hotel, 3 in the venue? 1 in the hotel, 4 in the venue?
Yeah, 2.
Like that?
Yeah, I think 2 and 3. That's
like
right.
5 already felt pretty long.
In terms of the setup for the commentators, I thought they did another pretty interesting thing once again, right? They did the on-site people, and then they had the JD studio, and they had their Cologne studio again. So they always do this. Like, this is like another thing that they've kind of settled on for ESL is a triple commentator setup.
Right.
And they do sometimes they do like a TriCast, it seems, from the Cologne one. They have like a nice shot there where it looks like it's in the middle of like the ESL offices or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of looks cool. It looks like your typical like TSN or ESPN thing where like you can see people like working in the background. I don't know. I kind of like that setup.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's cool. DreamHack kind of does that as well. They sort of show some of the nitty gritty of the studio, like camera operators and stuff in the background. To kind of fill the space. I like it. I think it's a cool hybrid model. We've been seeing majors do this on the DPC circuit. I guess minors not really as much, but during these crazy group stages, it just makes financial sense to hire folks to do really high quality remote coverage. Now you can pay a decent wage in terms of the hourly for doing remote casting, but you're still on your best behavior because it's for a major and you want it to be, very polished and whatnot, but it's still so much more cost effective than flying all those extra commentators out to be on site for 2 days worth of coverage. You only need multiple streams for like 2 or 3 days at most. And after that, it all levels out. So it's just not worth it to have all that extra production gear. I mean, think about how many additional setups you need. Think about all those PGL majors we've done where there's like 6 casting stations all in a row for all the different languages, all the different streams. That shit adds up super quick. So it's cool that we're seeing the non-DPC events kind of adopt a similar model, find some value in keeping some folks off site, and it's a good opportunity for them as well. It's like a middle ground. Killer Pigeon, Lizard, Gary B, Nomad, Lacoste. These guys probably wouldn't have been invited to go on site anyway. So, hey, it's casting opportunity.
Money.
You're casting ESL Birmingham, dude. Yeah, and some fat money. It's just pretty tight. I like it. I have to say, ESL has been slaying it with sponsors recently. You look at this breakdown, like if you just pull up the Wikipedia and this over here, like Jesus Christ. Intel, Mercedes, Vodafone, which for the Americans out there, that's basically like Verizon or AT&T for Europe. It's massive. DHL, that's Mountain Dew right there. That's literally fucking Mountain Dew amp. MSI, Asus, Republic of Gamers, PaySafe card. Like that's like a Visa card, dog. SAP, like it's crazy that GG Bet is probably the smallest sponsor on the
They're like
list.
psyched to even be with those other names, dude.
That is insane. ESL's ad team has really, really stepped up. It's nutso.
It's like Blizzard without the sham product that you're sponsoring. Like you're actually sponsoring something cool instead of just nothing.
Yeah,
that's neat.
Dude, the DHL activations have been really interesting. The stuff that they've done with
they
Slacks.
seem very happy.
Yeah.
From everything I've heard, DHL just loves Birmingham. They love ESL. They love Slacks.
They love Slacks.
Yeah, they think Slacks is. I mean, okay, so the content that was there at Birmingham, did Slacks do that remotely?
I actually have no idea.
And so have you? They basically had a Slacks hologram, and it looks like it was recorded in his bedroom,
Probably
or his basement, or whatever.
That would be my guess. Yeah,
but it was pretty funny.
That's pretty good. And to my knowledge, still, I haven't seen Mercedes on other ESL events. Like, I think that's just a Dota activation, isn't it? Am I crazy?
You haven't seen what? Sorry,
the Mercedes-Benz sponsorship for ESL. That's
I don't
only
know. I
on
don't
Dota.
see the CS:GO, so I'm not sure.
Is it? It's on CS:GO too?
No, I said I don't know.
Oh. You said I don't know, and I heard CS:GO. That's great. I don't know. Maybe Twitch chat can correct us there, but I'm pretty sure that Mercedes activation is mostly a Dota thing, and to me, that is a little bit mind blowing. Perhaps it's one of those sponsors. Maybe we've talked about this before, but it's like it actually benefits from that true global reach. There's like this handful of sponsors that actually want that truly global audience of Dota 2. And Disney is actually one of them. That one makes perfect sense because they want global tourism. That's a sponsor that says, oh, you've got hundreds of thousands of viewers in China? That sounds awesome. We want relatively wealthy Chinese folks to come to Paris to vacation. We want to make Disneyland look really fucking cool and have all those people come visit.
I mean, that actually, I mean, we haven't talked about it enough really, but that has got to be the dream sponsor for Mally. So if you guys don't know, Mally, God bless Mally, he's a French guy who went to China a long time ago. Must have been like 4 or 5 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's been a while. Maybe even more. It might be more than that. Anyway, he's a really nice guy. And he's been organizing and working for MDL and other organizations when he was in China. But for the last while, mostly MDL. He's kind of a big guy over there. So you have a French guy who's transplanted to China, and then you have all of these like Asian countries that love this destination of Paris. It's the place, right? Like they have the mini Paris in China. There's actually a syndrome, right? Like a actual medical condition that they title it like Paris Love or something in Japan, where so many people have actually traveled to Paris and been depressed after because it's actually not as nice as they think it's going to be.
Wow.
And so they're so obsessed with it. I mean, how could that sponsor be any better? The Disneyland in Paris. What a ridiculous find by him.
Yeah.
Kudos to him, man.
Seriously. That's like, massive. I mean, that's as non-endemic as it gets, you know?
It just checks every box. It's too good.
Yeah. No, I'm with you 100%. And there aren't many sponsors that are in that category where they can benefit from the entire globe. And Mercedes is really like that. You don't realize how big Mercedes is. It blew my mind. Like a couple months ago, I looked at this chart breakdown of global brand recognition and how it grew and declined over the last like 50 years. Mercedes is in like the top 10 most recognized brands in the world. And it's not Coke anymore at the top. It's all Amazon, Apple, Facebook was pretty high up there. You know, like all these kind of crazy global brands. That's why in a weird world, like on paper, it sort of made sense why Facebook wanted to do that deal with ESL. Why Facebook thought it was a valuable play to say, hey guys, here's $20 million for a 2-year exclusive deal for all your content, or whatever the number is. I'm kind of making that up, but let's say it's in that, because Facebook is one of those few brands that can actually benefit from that global audience. Unfortunately, there were a lot of other bottlenecks there that got in the way, but, you know, still. So, you know, somebody wrote that check at Facebook, though, thinking that that was going to get positive return on investment. That's a nuts thing to kind of consider based on how it turned out in reality. Somebody got fired over that shit, man.
Yeah, I don't think we'll be seeing that one again. Those viewer numbers were a disaster. I remember being at Genting that was the very first Facebook stream, if I'm not mistaken. Was the Genting that I went to. Yeah, it definitely was the first one.
I think so.
I remember all the hate.
Because I remember the meme of the kid's face where it's like Trent Pack's like first one he gets invited to, and it's on Facebook.
Yeah, and the stream didn't work. And when it did work, there was like 2,000 viewers a few days later. And I was just like, holy fuck. Like,
am I going to get paid?
Yeah, exactly. And then you see like everyone else streaming it on Twitch, and you look at those numbers, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. That was scary, man. That was really scary.
Yeah.
I felt bad for ESL because it had nothing to do with anyone who was there, right? Like I'm working with all these ESL people, they're just like, yeah, this is way above our pay grade, dude. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's not like any of them would have signed up for Facebook or anything, and they were all equally frustrated trying to get the platform to work.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. You forget that it's this giant company, and it's this handful of people at the top making those giant deals and big decisions, and then everyone else at the bottom and in the middle.
God. And then
just have to deal
I was
with it.
there when they started the DMCA's, and when buddies were popping off on Reddit, and all the higher ups were making comments, and I could just see some of the staff there reading the threads, and they were just like, "Oh, what's going on?"
Oh no, that's just kind of sad in a way.
I did laugh though, because I'm not sure for you guys, but a lot of Twitch servers went down during Birmingham for like 2 days, and I had to watch on YouTube. It
Really?
was so bad. Like, for some regions it was fine, but a lot of North Americans could not get Twitch to load for the day. So I had to watch a bunch of the content actually on YouTube.
You know, I actually think, I don't know if there might be news articles about this, but I think there was something bigger going on, because it wasn't just Twitch. On the weekend, like Shopify was down for like 5 or 6 hours. Gmail was down partially for a while this weekend. Like there were a bunch of really big services that were all having issues.
That's when I know some shit's going down. If I can't get on my Gmail, I actually have like a little mini panic attack. Like, is this the end?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I hear you. It's that moment your phone, like there a couple weeks ago, the not Wi-Fi, the 4G was out, like just in the little bubble that I live in. And I was driving like 15 minutes to a different grocery store, like the Asian Mart, and I didn't know exactly how to get there. And as soon as I left my house and got off the Wi-Fi, my phone just stopped working. And I couldn't get the GPS to work. I couldn't get it to do anything. I drove for 10 minutes. It still didn't work. I had to literally drive home, get back on my Wi-Fi to map it out, and then start driving it. It was a serious reality check of dependence of like, dude, my 4G's out in my little bubble, and I left my house, and now I don't know what to do.
I'm lost.
I'm completely lost. Excuse me, please help. How do I get to the Asian Mart? That shit's a little scary. That's you just count on it working. I don't know. You just think like it's going to be there when I need it. It's 3:00 on a Tuesday. Why would the servers be down? And sometimes the answer is shit happens. That's it.
All right. Well, I don't remember how we got there, but the minor is coming up soon. Actually, just released talent announcements. Have you seen that?
I did, actually.
I
saw it right before we went live. I was a little bummed that I wasn't on it, but hey, that's okay. Excited for this list of bros.
You're hoping for the big surprise? We didn't tell you, but here you are.
Richard Campbell, my long-lost brother, will be back again. We got Nahaz, Tsunami, and Synderen as the analyst squad. And then the commentators will be, I assume, Toby and Kyle together, and then Blitz and Cap, two classic combos for the final minor of this season. So a lot to look forward to there.
Yeah, they'll probably do mix-ups, so it'll probably be like Toby, Kyle, Toby, Synderen, and then they'll have Cap, Tsunami, and Cap Blitz doing casts, and then Synderen, Nahaz. Or then it'll just be Nahaz and Rich probably like always on panel sort of a deal with a lot of mixing up. So should be good. Something we heard a while back was that starladder basically said, hey, we'd like to just bring all new people for the next one. And so they did, because I don't think there's any repeats from the last time when I was there.
Yeah, cool to see.
So I think that's cool.
Tsunami back again after getting some more positive reception after the last major. So this is kind of cool for him.
This is looking like what happened to me last year. You know, you get a couple right near the end. It's looking really good.
He's going to make the run, dude. He's going to get invited to TI.
He might make the TI run. I hope he does. I just hope he doesn't take my spot.
Yeah.
That's what I would say. I think we're both very similar.
I'm all in on that conspiracy theory somebody posted on Reddit about our TI9 event in Colorado. We're going to have some more information coming about that, but maybe this is just a con so that we can Suns fan our way to TI once Valve invites us to shut down our event as a competitor in North America. That's the only way I'm getting invited to TI this year. If this event is so good that Valve sees it as a threat and the analysis, this is the only way that we can shut it down and still get some PR value. Zyori and Suns fan,
hey,
welcome to Shanghai, boys. Come on, load up. You're doing the noob stream. Just give us some shitty job. I don't care. I'll go. Let's do it.
It worked for Bulldog, dude. That's how he started getting invited.
There you go. I'm looking forward to TI this year. Side thought, but let's jump back. So, Synderen also excited to see him doing some analysis. He's been
I
playing.
actually have info on that. So basically, Synderen was reaching out to a lot of these people for the past couple of months. Like basically, once he didn't qualify for each round of qualifiers, he'd been trying to cast a little bit more this year. But he'd reach out and he'd say, "Hey, do you guys get any like spots for analysts at the event? I'd like to come." And every single time the response he got was, "Oh, we've actually already reached out to all our analysts," because
Wow.
at least his theory was that the pool's so limited that everyone tries to snatch them up as soon as possible. So he just simply couldn't get to any events.
Wow.
Yeah, he's been trying to, but he just can't get there.
That's actually a little bit
so this
surprising.
one worked, obviously. Yeah, I was surprised to hear that too.
I mean, I guess in some ways, like in the past, Sind has been the one person that has been able to get away with having one foot on each camp and still play pretty consistently and still be so highly valued by tournament organizers that he can show up whenever he wants and say, I'm in. I didn't qualify, but I'll show up to cast now. And historically, people have pretty much bent over backwards and been like, well, I mean, it's Cinderin. We must have Cinderin here. Everyone loves Cinderin. He makes everyone look good. I don't know a single person that doesn't like Cinderin. I don't know many talent where I can say that. Most people are at least a little bit polarizing.
Yeah.
He truly isn't. But that's a bummer. I'm excited to see him on the panel.
Yeah, it'll be really good.
Team-wise, I think we did talk about this a little bit on the last podcast, but
we did.
Any recent results or anything that has changed your sort of general power rankings? I think before we talked about
well,
NIP.
we had a roster change. I know that. Our boy Inflame was kicked for In July on Sirius.
Oh.
Yeah, poor Inflame. Perhaps still a little unstable, it would seem.
Brutal, I suppose. Of course, recognize some names over there on Sirius, but I have not seen this team play so much.
Well, the big hype for me on that team is ASD, because I thought this guy was really good, and then he left the eHome stack, or eHome team, I guess, rather.
I see.
So I'm looking forward to him being back, because that eHome team was looking real good.
Yeah.
When it was like ASD and Ego and then it fell apart. Tian Ming.
Are you less confident in NIP now, seeing how their results looked at ESL Birmingham?
I was going to say, is this Tian Ming? Hold on one sec. Is this Tian Ming? It is, right? The guy who's on Sirius? Yeah, it is. So he's there too. I think? I don't even know. Names are so confusing. I think that's Tian Ming. Yeah, that is Tian Ming. Interesting. So they've got a couple of their players. NIP. So what did they finish? Pretty low, right? 9th, 10th at Birmingham.
Yep.
I don't know. It's going to be the same thing. I think this minor looks harder to me than the last one. I'll say that.
Yeah.
That seem fair?
I think so.
I think Cole looks better.
I was just going to say that. I think Cole is kind of my dark horse in this one, where they're due for some results. They've got a pretty solid roster. They've got the training facilities.
The training facilities. Dude, do they ever? I mean, that's a sponsorship conversation that you can have an entire podcast about.
I mean,
God.
Seriously, dude.
I guess they pretty much do.
I just want to find an excuse to go to Dallas and get a tour. You know, I know they're looking to show that shit off, dude. I want to take some Instagram pics. I want to check it out.
Did you serious? If you called up Complexity, they'd probably pay for your flight to come there and do a tour of that and post it.
Dude, that sounds awesome. Those are kind of activations.
Beef and be like, yo, Beef, what do you say? Me and you, Dallas, the weekend, partying up with Skim. I mean, that sounds... we could both get flown out there. Let's go.
Yo, Beef, what do you say we moonduck on this shit? Yo, let's do some Complexity podcast. Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, let's send an email, dude. I'm down. You miss all the shots you don't take. 100%. I want to go check out Dallas.
Maybe Ryan covered it. What do you say, guys?
Let's go. I'm 100% in. I like this team, too. I know Kips is working out of that facility. Miracle, Limp, Tavo, Z Freak, and Adam. It's such an interesting mix of players. You know, I think you could do a ton of content around that. Especially if they win the minor or get top 2 in the minor.
That'd be pretty cool.
Go to the major.
They have tons of stuff. I always see their Twitter just firing off with all kinds of content. I think it has inspired Gerg in his life with Chaos. I mean, I see them making all kinds of stuff as well. I mean, really, that's just Greg wanting to show off his car. Let's be real. Every one of the content pieces, the trailer always has him driving somewhere.
It's true.
It's a very common theme.
I like the idea, though. I like the concept of trying to show like a little behind-the-scenes stuff and have some fun with it. Now, I will say for comparison, since we were talking about sponsors, StarLadder, Lion, and DX Racer. Now, if you're wondering what Lion is, I pulled this up. It seems to be some sort of limited edition power bar.
Dude, those are the ones we were eating.
Is it?
Yeah. They were at Dota Pit. Don't you remember?
Not really.
Those things were good.
All right. They look
very
sweet.
European. They love them.
Here's the sweet and salty. So that's kind of cool, but that's it, man. How does StarLadder pay for these? I don't understand. Where does it come from?
I don't know. There were no sponsors at the last one.
It must all come from Imba TV. That's all I can imagine.
I actually have no idea, but when we were at that last event, there was not a single ad. It was an absolutely brutal event to work. The game would end. They would go to like the panel for a second, then they would run highlights and then come back to the panel. There was just no commercials.
It's so funny that like we used to kind of hate that. I was like just finishing that chapter about the Summit 3, the giveaway, the super sellout sponsors, where it was just overwhelming. Like, some 20% of our broadcast time was spent with either commercials or plugs or demonstrations of how to use products or doing Vulcan predictions or all sorts of other horse shit. And now we've swung the other way where it's like, are you kidding me? We don't have any downtime. There's no commercials. Well, when am I going to poop? We gotta stay on the panel the whole time.
It's true. You got to watch the game so you know what you're going to talk about. And then there's no time to do anything else.
Yeah. I mean, Dota Pit didn't have that many commercials. They had a lot of sponsors, but their commercial role was pretty short. And there weren't really that many plugs or really any plugs that we had to do. But still, there were some breaks, and I think there's like a middle ground. Maybe at Dota Pit there was a little too much downtime if I'm looking back kind of just comparatively. But at the same time, I liked that we didn't have to fill. I think it kind of makes for a better product.
Yeah, I think it might be better for a minor specifically because there's simply not as much to talk about. You got half the number of teams.
True.
And the teams are lower quality compared to the major. And I think short and sweet is the way to play a minor, man. I think that's how you got to do it.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. There is a really, really big difference there. And I think you hit the nail on the head. There is a significant amount of diminishing returns on hyper-analyzing games that aren't really that good. You know, a 2-0 series that was kind of a blowout. There's not 30 minutes of good analysis you can do for that. It's like one team was just better. Maybe next time they'll draft a little better. You know, maybe next time they'll farm the map more, but NIP just fucking beat them.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's, you know. All right. Well, StarLadder, less than a week away. A lot to look forward to. I'm pumped to see Richard Campbell, man. I like that we're spicing it up again with the hosts. I guess that's the one real familiar face for StarLadder.
Yeah, I'm sure he's happy to be back for another Dota event too. So, does he have any other WoW nerds there with him? Is he? I assume he's a bit of a WoW nerd. I know he's like a Warcraft guy.
I don't know. Maybe Tsunami plays WoW. I could see it.
You could see that? I don't think so.
I've never met him. I'm just talking shit. I don't know really anything about Tsunami aside from what I've seen on panel.
Well, his name's Neil, and he's a great lad.
He's got a nice beard. I heard he's very friendly.
Of a great beard. He recommended me the headset that I bought, and I can't thank him enough. It was the Play.
Okay.
Yeah, the QC 25s or whatever, Quiet Comfort. I think 25s.
He's pretty clever. I've noticed on panels he's pretty good at coming up with like metaphors and comparisons and stuff that are very interesting. You know, like it comes with good analogies. That's the word I'm looking for. I'm so dumb I can't remember the word analogy. But I'm glad. I want to see more Tsunami. It'd be cool if he made it to TI. I'd like to see him on panel.
You know what's kind of crazy, though, is that I'm looking forward to this minor and everything, and then two of these teams just go to the major, and that's it. I don't know. It's weird that we have this, like, because to me it feels like a big tournament coming up, but in reality, it is just a qualifier that's kind of nothing into the actual tournament. And before it was only one team. I don't know why this feels so strange all of a sudden, but like we're talking about this and discussing this minor, when in reality, you look at that major and you're like, oh, yeah, there's everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, it's a good point.
The system's kind of odd.
I think with two teams going, it's like 2 out of 8. You're like, all right, 25% of these teams are going to the major. That's 3 times the size in terms of prize pool. And, I mean, what's the pro circuit point difference? 15,000 at the major. And how many total at the minor? 500? Is that right? Is it really that steep of a difference? I mean, it is just a qualifier. The major is all that matters.
Well, except for money, I guess.
Well, yeah, except
125, you know?
Right, but the thing is, most of the money is going to go to the teams that are going to the major anyway. So it's like the major is still all that matters. Like the total prize pool is $300K, and 200 of it, or 195, is going to the top 2 teams. So yeah, I mean you're not wrong. Money is something, but Yeah. All right. Well, dude, let's talk about Twitch Rivals a little bit, because I have to say, man, that shit was a ton of fun. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, yesterday Twitch did a Dota 2 Rivals. If you don't even know what Twitch Rivals is, it's this series of content that they've been doing for a plethora of different games. It brings streamers together. Everybody plays in whatever tournament format they've come up with. They put a prize pool together. It's usually a mixture of like streamers, personalities, some casters, a lot of professional players. It's just a cool Twitch initiative to generate some more content and give people an excuse to stream and meme, so to speak. Yesterday, $50,000 prize pool. I think it was 50 or 60. I think it was 50. For this Dota 2 tournament, it was 40 players, 8 teams, 2 groups of 4. They picked 8 captains, and they drafted schoolyard style. Just a lot of us, and they just picked one until there was nobody left. Somebody was dead last. It wasn't me. That was already a victory coming out of the gate. I was totally prepared to be picked dead last, Trent. I'm not going to lie. I was like, I had that conversation with myself. I'm like, this is not going to tilt me. I already know. They even warned me when I signed up. I pinged Twitch and said, hey, I'd love to participate. And they said, you know, it's mostly pro players participating, right? And I said, yeah, don't worry. I'm ready. And then I looked at the list and was just like, oh, shit. Okay. All right. Try hard mode. Let's go, boys.
Well,
I'm ready.
I was a little confused, to be honest, because I got the email 10 days ago. And I'll read you guys the email. So this is what I see. Compete in Dota 2 on June 6th. Twitch Rivals. And I was like, what? Hey there, partner. We've seen you play Dota 2, and we think you've got skills. That's why we're inviting you to compete in Twitch Rivals, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, oh, cool. It's like a little community thing. And like I knew that B-Cop was in. And so I was like, okay, that's really neat, guys. Cool. Well, I didn't think it was going to be like mostly pro players.
Yeah.
That was pretty comical.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be mostly community stuff.
No, it was.
Yes, yeah, can I just say I died on my stream, guys? I got picked before Henry. Go me, second round pick. I was so overrated. I knew my team was done the second I got picked. I was like, I heard my name and I was like, what? I was like, that's not good.
Second round.
Play.
I was stunned. I knew you would get picked before me, but second round, I mean, I felt good because I knew several of the captains. We had Purge, Grant, and Cinderin all captaining. So I was like, all right, between those 3, somebody's got my back. Somebody's got my boy here. And Cinderin did not disappoint. Who was your captain?
Gunner.
That was it.
So
okay.
Gunner, here's why, though. Because Gunner had first pick overall. So he got Iceberg, which I do think was the correct first pick overall.
Yeah.
Because Iceberg's a god. But then that means he also has the absolute last pick in the second round. And at that point, I guess he just didn't want to play with Toxic NA Henry. So that's pretty much what happened there. There must have been someone still better than me, though. I think there were still a couple high MMR players that were European that he might not have known about.
Yeah.
Or he just was like, yo, let's just get Trent because he's nice.
And I did that too. Well, I guess some of the teams actually did have some issues. One of the players ended up rage quitting and then queued for a pub. Had to get a last-minute replacement. I don't know what that was all about, but I don't think every team was his friend. Was your team toxic at all? Did you guys rage or argue?
No, it was super friendly. It
okay.
was nice.
Yeah, my team was as well. It was Cinderin, Gork, and then 2 like European all-star type players that I wasn't really that familiar with. Chechia or something and Rocco. I don't know. Cinder knew who they were. They were pretty friendly. They had no issues.
I had Sumichu, who I think might have been the league player. I heard people saying there was someone who was a league player, and she called them Blue Wards once, which I think is a league thing, right?
Probably. It's been a while.
So, but she was good. I would guess that she was probably like Ancient or something as well. Okay. And then I think there was an offlane. The guy who was playing offlaner was also like Legion or around Ancient too, I would guess, by how he's playing.
Okay.
But yeah. Oh, Hai was the league player? Oh, Hai was on the enemy team. Ah, okay.
I see.
But yeah, I'm trying to remember what his name was. It was like Vitalik or something. So our team was fun. And Iceberg was hilarious. Oh my god. He goes, guys, it is fine. My English is good. And he talked like that the entire time, and he always say, it is okay, we can do it. And then every time we pick a hero, so like, because the enemy's picking your heroes, right? So the Ench shows up, he goes, oh yes, I am very good Ench. I go Ench mid. And then the next they give us Io. Oh, Io, I must play Io. I will be Io mid. Just like every time they give us a new hero, he's all excited. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He went Aghanim's Io, and we destroyed. Our first game, Demon gave us, the first 2 heroes he gave us were Earth Spirit and PA. And we were like, oh, Well, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm all right with that. And then we got Io and Ench, and we're like, what are they doing? And we gave them 5 melee heroes, and our Ench was actually unkillable.
Dude.
It was so funny.
We actually watched that game because I had suggested Ench in game number 1. And the whole team was like, no, trust me, you don't want to give him Ench. That hero is so fucking good in the lanes. And then we saw your job. We're like, they got Wisp and Ench. What? And Earth Spirit? What the fuck's going on? This is just a normal game. And then we saw that Iceberg had an Ags on Wisp, and we were just like, okay, this is Jesus.
Dude, Demon was throwing. First off, he was already shit-talking because in the lobby he goes, yo, Trent, what's your MMR? Because he was clearly as confused as I was, and I kept pick second. And I was like, watch out, boy. 4.6K here coming for you. And then we beat him, so it was good.
Yeah. Oh, that's... We got roasted in our first game. We definitely came in a little cocky. It was reverse captain's mode, so it was a little different. We didn't really think about it that hard. And, yeah, we just got outdrafted game 1. We gave him Dusa Bristleback, which was really stupid. Don't give him Dusa. Dusa's pretty fucking good with a bunch of other melee heroes. BSJ carried that game hard.
Oh, yeah.
But then we won games 2 and 3, and we realized, so... If there was a tiebreaker, if there were teams that were 2-1, you know, it's 2 groups of 4. Only the first from each group move on to the playoffs. So first place is all that matters. If it were a tie, it would not have gone to head-to-head. It was all time rating. So we lost our first game really quick, but we won games 2 and 3 in like less than 25 minutes, both of them. So that was why at the end, if you guys had beat Bulldog's team and they were 2-1, there would have been a 3-way tie, all 2-1, but we would have had the time rating to go to the finals. So even though we got second, we were actually pretty goddamn close. And Bulldog's team was who we played first, and they rolled us over. And then Cinderin adapted. He learned. And we got a lot better.
Did you guys ever get the support versus carry thing? Or were you guys always carry-carry?
Pretty much always carry-carry. We seemed like the meta was all about 4 like hard carries like Spectre, Lifestealer, shitty laners, plus Drow with no synergy. And game 1, we tried to make... I played position 5 Drow support, and we tried to go carry Spectre, and we realized that was awful, and we should have done the opposite and basically just sacked the 5 role and just been a useless Spectre and then gone Drow carry mid against Dusa and actually had a lane there, and they felt like that we could have won. We got Morphling in our 3rd game, though. As soon as we got Morphling, fucking Gork was like, okay, we have already won. Don't worry. I don't think there's any way I can lose with this hero.
That's his hero.
I mean, like...
Because someone said that, and I was like, we talked about Morph because we were talking about hard carries, and we were just like, no, you can't give Morph because his lane is just way too good. Like, there's no way you can give the Morph.
Exactly.
Even if his ulti shit that game, he's going to get 100% last hits and denies, and no one else can in these awful matches.
Yep.
For anyone who's confused by all this, I guess we should have mentioned this was reverse captain's mode. So that's why. Yeah.
So you're literally drafting for the enemy team. It is actually kind of hard to do. Once you start looking at all the heroes, you're like,
I thought.
Who's really shit? And you start thinking like, man, I kept saying like, well, Ogre's pretty bad. And they're like, yeah, but he's got a stun. We don't want to give him any stuns. I'm like, well, Bounty Hunter's pretty bad. They're like, I mean, kind of. He also snowballs games. Like you can list any hero and then find positives about them. Like, okay, how about Huskar? He's really bad. It's like, well, I don't know.
Here.
If they give us all melee heroes, Huskar could kind of fuck us up and go crazy nectar in the first 10 minutes.
Check this out. Boot this baby up here. I put it there. I'll also link it to you in Discord. Show the folks this. This was the last ATOD tournament that I could remember. This was ATOD 3, aka it's just Dota backwards because it's reverse. I remember buying this ticket in Dota, and if you look at the drafts, it's pretty funny to look back on what heroes were considered so awful. So Kunkka was a first phase ban in many of these games. He was considered like unplayable, basically. And several of them. You've got Medusa. I mean, some of them are still the same, honestly. Like the Bloodseeker, no one wanted. The Drow, no one wanted. Faceless Void. I mean, we kind of stole the Faceless Void just from this. Yeah. We were like, oh yeah, Void is trash.
We were okay with Void. We were happy to get Void. It seemed like Spectre was top tier bad because her lane is just so awful. Easy to cripple. You kind of can't make her a support. Like, at least PA, she can play a support role pretty okay. Anti-Mage felt 50-50. We didn't play him much, but we definitely talked about him a lot. I suggested Bloodseeker a lot. I really pushed my team to draft Bloodseeker, but they all hard vetoed my suggestion and said that Cinderin was very much like, I do not want to play against Bloodseeker, period. Fuck that hero. And I felt
it kind of looks like Four Friends and Curly won 4 straight games with that hero, so maybe that wasn't the play.
Yeah, that's true, actually. Maybe you're right. We were all about Clinks. We gave away Clinks almost every game, I think.
Yeah. we gave away a like in one game, and we regretted that, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Because we thought it was good, but in the end, anything that lets you snowball is really not good to let happen.
Yeah. I think the idea of going like 5 supports is also really hard right now because the way the game has changed with talents, Aghanim Scepters, Tomes, like every support can play core.
That. Yeah, I thought that was terrible. Like, we saw these support carry matchups, and I was like, I don't want to do that because we talked about how if we were first pick, and they gave us, or if we were second pick and they gave us Spectre first, should we just give them all supports? And I was like, I really don't think that's an easy way to win. Like, I think the support should win that game every time.
Yeah.
As you said, with Tomes and with talents, and with all the wave hooks that supports have, because carries just don't have wave clear, man. Like, I can't believe some of the supports lost those games.
What did you guys first ban every game? What were your opening bans?
Often it was Mirana was one of the ones that we were banning quite a bit, actually.
Weird.
Because we determined that she'd be pretty awful without any sort of arrow setup. I don't know. That was mostly a gunner thing. He really just did not want to end up with Mirana.
Interesting.
The other ones were Visage and Lone Druid a couple times, too.
Okay. We did Meepo and Brood every game, and then games 2 and 3, we also banned out Lone Druid with those two. We got stuck with Lone Druid against Bulldog and felt like it wasn't awful, but none of our players wanted to play it or liked the hero. So we just wanted to ditch it. And we didn't want to get stuck with Meepo, and we just kept theory crafting these scenarios where you get stuck with a Brood and no way to do anything and just feeling useless. So
I did laugh when we gave you guys that Night Stalker, I will say.
Dude, we were just like, oh, they fucked up. They fucked up. Why did they just give us Night Stalker?
That's the Cinder and Night Stalker. But there was, I don't know, you get to that point, the last pick's really hard, honestly.
Yes,
that's by far the hardest point. But we're looking at those heroes and we're like, I think it's still the worst. But then we got snowballed on too hard. So.
Ricky was pretty bad too. Ricky was like our secret weapon in a couple of games. I played a position 5 Ricky in game 2 and it went pretty well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. The position 5 PL dude, that juke is like one of my most proud Dota moments ever.
I thought for sure you were gonna stay. Oh god, that was funny. The juke you had, and then also the when you didn't keep circling the tree. Oh god, I thought you were gonna go for the block off, and then I just wanted to get the highlight.
Dude.
And I was like, I'm just dead.
I went straight for the tower, and my team, the commentary is pretty funny because they were all just like, all right, I'm not going to TP for that. The PL's dead. And then Gork's like, well, actually, he's kind of making a lot of space. Then someone else is like, he's surviving. Then Cinder's like, it's Zyori with the fucking jukes. And then they just TP'd in and cleaned it up. I'm like, I'm position 5, guys. It was pretty fun. They all were very nice and played around me as the weak one. They always let me pick first. They're like, all right, Zyori, what do you want for position 5? You've got the best ping and the lowest skill, so we got to give you choice of heroes. They were very adaptable around what I needed outside of Gork getting his position 1 choice.
That's pretty good.
It was a lot of fun, though. I really hope Twitch keeps doing this kind of stuff. I hope I get to keep participating. I had a ton of fun. It seemed like the mainstream actually had a lot of viewers. People were telling me they were like,
I heard like 80K.
Yeah, 80,
I had
90K.
no idea Suns fan was casting that, by the way. That caught me by surprise. I laughed.
Yeah, Suns fan.
Their faces when I got picked were so funny, watching them try and come up with something to say. They were both stunned. Eosin, they're just like, Eosin is just like, well, I've actually been playing with Trent a little bit lately, and you tell him what to do, he's going to do it. But it was really funny. You could tell they were both just like, what the fuck?
That was what Cinderin said, actually. He was like, I wanted to pick you because I knew you would at least listen to what I would say. I was like, hell yeah, dude. I'm a follower. I got this shit. I liked the little bit of the casting that I got to hear. I like that my brand for Twitch Rivals has just become the butt of every joke. The, quote, Zyori territory of drafting.
Yeah, I heard that. That was
before we get into Zyori territory. I don't know. I hope they caught my juke on the main stream, dude. I don't know. Did they? They showed a highlight of our match against each other, but it was just us killing the throne from Gunner's perspective. It was like one of the weirdest highlights I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was just Gunner like super sad.
It was just Gunner getting shredded. I'm just like, dude, there were so many hype moments in this game. This. Why didn't you show me killing Trent in the jungle, man? Come on.
Yeah, it was good. What would you do for the next one? Because I tried to think of this, because I definitely want team-based. No one wants 1v1s. The team-based thing was fun. I think the drafting teams is also fun. I think that's a good way to try and make it balanced as well while still bringing a big group of people. But I don't know what game mode to do next. I think ability draft might be too hard for most people.
Yeah, I mean, I think ability draft would actually be kind of fun. I've been getting into that mode recently, but you're right. It is kind of miserable, and a lot of it will be really one-sided. Like, that game is very snowbally.
Chat suggestions. I heard that ARDM is a little broken right now. Grant was very upset. He said it's super broken. It just doesn't work.
It's buggy as fuck. Yeah, I would love ARDM. I think that game mode is actually really fun and has a lot of strategy.
Overthrow is a really good idea, honestly. Man, actual competitive overthrow could be kind of fun for something like this. It would be fun to watch.
I would love to see random draft. I think an RD tournament would be awesome.
I don't know about Whoa, you mean like all random or random draft?
No, random draft. Like there's a draft of heroes. It's like you pick within the pool.
I think that's too competitive, honestly. I mean, I'm down. It would just be normal Dota.
Well, so
I'm into that.
So my opinion is, I think the event itself is already interesting and gimmicky, and I think like the first one they tried to go too hard with okay, it's gonna be 1v1, then 2v2, then we're gonna do a 5v5 mirror matchup mid. Fuck all that. Like all of that stuff is too far out there. Maybe you're right. RD is too try hard, but I want it to be 5v5. I want it to keep true to like the Dota competitive nature. We all like Dota because it's competitive. The first event did not feel competitive enough. It's like, all right, well, I got rolled in the 1v1s, the 2v2s got canceled, and the 5v5 is a mere matchup, which I've literally never played in Dota ever. That was the first time I ever played an all-mid mere matchup like that, because that's just not a game mode Dota fans play. We play regular fucking Dota, dude. I want to try hard. That's what Dota's all about. So it doesn't have to be captain's mode, but I want it to be a little more try hard than the opposite way, because it's just more fun. That's what Dota's all about. And I think the viewership speaks to that.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I kind of like the idea of actually, the more I think about a random draft or captain's draft, both sound pretty good, actually.
Yeah. Like, I think RD is really cool. There's a lot of strategy. It's pretty hard. Single draft is also cool, but I don't know if that's really, it's a little too random. I don't think all random is really that cool. It's too random.
It's a little too one team gets screwed.
Yeah, it's simply just too random, and that's why I think RD is the best combination of like a competitive mode with all random. You've got randomization within a pool, so there's still strategy.
Yeah, it's probably the best one.
But yeah, I don't know. It's a good question. What do they do moving forward to keep this interesting? I would like to see them experiment with an ability draft one and see how it goes, because even though I think probably half the games will be garbage and blowouts, the ones that won't be will be really interesting and really fun to watch. So it might be one of those kind of polarizing events where it has a lot of shit content, but maybe the finals is really exciting, or maybe a couple of the matches get some really cool highlights that still bring value to the Twitch Rivals event. I don't know what their goal is with it. I don't know if it's just to maximize viewers across all streams, if it's to just maximize like brand awareness, or if it's just to spread some love and spread some money around the community. I mean, as a streamer, I appreciated being able to win a decent prize pool yesterday.
Hell yeah, dude. That was awesome.
That was a pretty good day rate. I'm all right with that.
Not gonna lie, I was a little disappointed when they switched it back to wins. At first it said you got paid per win. And I was like, that's cool. And then after they were like, okay, now everyone just gets 1,500 per match. And I was like, oh, okay, even better. Like 1,500 for the whole team.
Yeah.
And then I got switched back to wins. It seemed like there was some miscommunication there between the rules. So unfortunately I made the 600 instead of the or what would I have won? 900, I guess, right? If it was just 300 per game.
I liked the wins. I mean, I don't know. I think with Dota,
you won too. That's why you like them.
Well, of course, you're appealing, but I like the incentive. The appeal, like I think it's better when people are trying hard. I think events like that get really dumb really quick when everyone signs up. It's like kind of dirt mall. Everyone's kind of cool on the concept. When there's nothing on the line, it's hard to really take it seriously. When there's enough money on the line like that, I mean, everybody was trying fucking hard. You know, like, I mean, if you watch like Sinstream or Gorkstream, they were theory crafting hard. They were treating that shit like it was a real tournament, you know, very serious. And I think that's a good thing in terms of resonating with the Dota audience. You want it to be more than just a goofy show match. That's what Midas Mode is for, dude. Come on, don't steal my thing.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, a lot of fun. Glad we got to do it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Happily bring us back Twitch Rivals. It was great. We had a wonderful time. Rivals, rivalry, it's all coming together.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe that's how it happened.
The branding is there. Path of Exile drops today. Trent, you going to play some PoE this season?
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of intrigued by that. Not going to lie. I've been grinding so much Dota that I actually get to a point in the day where I'm just like, all right, I need a break from Dota.
Yeah. I hear you.
I have to find something else.
No,
although I'm actually just waiting for E3. Isn't that start is that this weekend?
I think so.
God, please. I hope so.
It should be coming up pretty soon. Yeah, I think there's a good a good balance between a game like Dota and a game like PoE, because one is very single player, like grindy. I'm just fucking smashing shit. I'm trading items, economy focused. And Dota is very social, team oriented, kind of high pressure, you know, big time sense of urgency. PoE, you can kind of play at your own pace if you want to. You know, you're not racing against anybody unless you choose to, compared to Dota. I don't like playing either one too much without the counterbalance. I play too much Dota. I'm like, dude, I fucking can't stand teammates. I just want to do my own shit. I play PoE for a week straight. I'm like, I would kill to talk to somebody right now. I just want to make a joke and make somebody laugh. Jesus Christ. Yeah. So that, to me, that's my big love of PoE. I've always loved having like a competitive team game and like a grinding kind of RPG or action hack and slash kind of game. That's the best of both worlds.
Basically, what have I been doing lately? Playing a lot of Melee with Lyrical. We're getting our grind back on because the qualifiers are up soon, so we both want to be decent when we get back to LA, you know?
Dude,
we do another hub. Got to get my Melee on.
How do you guys practice? Do you play online?
Yeah, we just use NetPlay.
Okay.
We have to play with like 100 ping, though, because he's in Oregon. But it's whatever. I mean, it's obviously not like top tier, but it's still really fun.
Yeah.
So we're enjoying that.
That's good.
I'm waiting for the E3 announcements because the rumor mill is it's either going to be Eldrick, who is a character from the Dragon Quest series, or potentially, and I can't get too excited because a bunch of leakers have theoretically confirmed it, but there's a high chance that Banjo-Kazooie is coming to Smash, and I'm going to lose my shit, but I can't get hyped because I just can't. That was one of my childhood games that I have like the most memories of. I absolutely love Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. Please, for the love of God, please be in Smash, but I can't get too excited.
It's been forever, dude.
I'll die.
It's been forever.
I'll actually die.
When did the last one come out?
There was a nuts and bolts for Xbox, but I didn't own an Xbox, and at that point I was kind of too old anyway. I mean, they're kind of kiddie games, but I loved Banjo-Kazooie. Oh my God. I want to play that game. I don't even know how many times I played that game. Please, Microsoft. Please. Give him to Smash. That's all I ask. But we'll see.
Oh, my. All right. Well, that's exciting. E3 is always fun. That's like perfect background noise for me. That's the kind of Twitch content I just pop on, try to catch some announcements, watch it a little bit here and there, but also like reading the headlines. It's just a fun time for gamers to catch all that stuff. Now, not a fun time, Trent. A little news piece is that the rumor mill has been going crazy with Blizzard Entertainment. Have you seen these headlines about key executives and longtime employees leaving the team because of supposed morale issues internally inside the Blizzard camp?
Yeah, it doesn't sound good.
It certainly doesn't.
I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. How bad does that have to be that you leave one of the most iconic I mean, what are the biggest developers in games in the Western world?
I mean, EA's up there, Blizzard's up there, Valve,
Blizzard. I mean, Valve I don't think counts anymore, to be honest.
Riot.
I guess they're still kind of iconic, but
Epic, Bethesda.
Yeah, but Blizzard's just so massive. Like, jeez.
Yeah, there's probably some other big ones that I'm missing, but yeah, Blizzard is comparatively large. Now, I will say, I've applied for probably 4 or 5 jobs at Blizzard over the last like 6 or 7 years. Never even got an interview, so I don't know that much about the company culture or what it's. I've never even been to the campus. But when I was working in Heroes of New Earth, the executive producer we had on that first DreamHack event I worked in 2012. She told me that like her big sell for getting me to come on board and why I should accept that full-time job offer at S2 was that S2 is a relatively small private company, not quite a startup, but startup-esque. And she said, we can just do stuff. We can go right to the guy that has the money, say, this is the plan, this is what we want to do, this is the return. He'll give us a check. We go buy the shit. We start making content. We can just fucking do it. She was like, my boyfriend works at Blizzard. I've contracted with Blizzard. The amount of red tape you have to go through to get shit done, the amount of middle management, the approvals as stuff moves up the ladder. She's like, it's miserable. You have this really great creative idea and you can't fucking execute it. And all these other people that really have nothing to do with it get to insert their opinion and poke and prod and rip it apart. And by the end, the thing that you're creating is not even close to the vision. And you know you're not hitting the mark, but you have to be satisfied with it because it's the best you can do within the bureaucracy you are stuck working within. It's like, damn, that's some harsh shit. But I kind of see where she's coming from. You know, there's a point where companies get so big, you got to work within this giant system. I wonder if it's somewhat of a byproduct of that. So we can't remember. It's Blizzard Activision now. They are one company.
Yes,
so it's not just Blizzard. Blizzard is a subset of this greater monolith that is working a completely different business model. Call of Duty's still doing that. Let's just put out some new titles, man. We got Modern Warfare 3, 4, 5. We got Deadly Warfare 3,
we're
4,
going
5.
to World War II, and now we're going back to modern. We're going to World War II and back to the modern one.
You know, like,
I don't really get their model, I have to say.
It's just pushing titles, man. It's just, you know, the repackage. I've just been watching The Wire. What do you do when you have an inferior product? You rebrand it. You change the title. You take the same thing. You put it in a different colored box. You change the title. You make a new trailer and go, dude, this is the new shit. You got to buy this or you're not going to be in on the new shit. I'm a little cynical. There's probably a little more to it than that. But still, I'm sure I'm selling Call of Duty short. I will be fair. But that is kind of their general model. It's just the keep releasing, just keep getting shit out there, hit the cycle, hit the Christmas time, you know, follow the sales trends, very seasonal. I don't get it. I don't subscribe to that. Obviously, we subscribe to the Dota model, which probably makes us weird. But Kim Fan is one of the big ones. She's been like the senior director of esport, global product director of Blizzard Esports, whatever. She's been at the company for like 13 years. If she actually leaves, that is pretty big. That's a serious senior employee there that's been involved in a lot of key esports initiatives. You know, people keep saying, is esports a bubble? I just want to reply with, is Overwatch a bubble?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I was just looking right now because I noticed that they launched their schedule a while back. They basically confirmed the full home and away schedule will be in 2020, and they're not going to bring in any more teams so that it can be fully set up. And they say that they want to eventually field 28 teams globally. So they still have supposedly 8 slots coming, but they're going to hold on to the 20 teams they have now. Jeez.
Interesting. I don't know.
20 teams.
I don't really share in the cynicism of this whole like recent dialogue of like, oh, the esports bubble's about to explode. It's
going to hurt. It's going to pop a little. Like, let's be real. Like, it is.
Yes.
When Overwatch flubs super hard with all these home games, it's going to hurt investments, I would think.
Well, for sure. I mean, the growth in a sector like this is always a series of ebb and flows. Like, picture any kind of stock chart. It doesn't like just go up or just go down. It goes up, then it goes down, and it goes up, and it's like this spike that kind of trends over time, either in one direction or the other. So, Are we overdue for a fairly negative spike to correct a little bit for some of the overinvestment, some of the overinflation? Absolutely. I would agree with you there. Does that mean like the whole bubble is going to burst and it's all going to come crashing down? Absolutely fucking not. Are some teams overvalued? Yes. Have some investors wasted money throwing stuff at these giant like esports conglomerates that, quote, do the whole stack? Yes, absolutely. A lot of people have wasted some money. That doesn't mean that there aren't people in the space getting better return for their dollars and doing really good things, right? Like ESL is doing a lot of really good stuff. Right, there are a lot of other orgs and other
games, dude. They're hitting mobile games. I saw those ads during Birmingham. They got mobile game tournaments coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's their big thing.
And I think a lot of the big players don't share in that same cynicism. I think a lot of it's overblown by, I don't know the right word for this category of people, but those sort of like tangential esports investors, the folks that don't have much skin in the game, haven't been in it for very long. They come in after things are already hot, go, wow, this is really awesome. Things are growing really well. Let's get some investment flowing. They have some idea. They generate some investment dollars. It goes bust, and they kind of exit. I don't really care about those people. I feel like they're topical to the core drivers that are keeping esports afloat. You know, like your ESL and DreamHacks, they've got skin in the game. They're like the big players that are almost immune to these sort of bubbles. Like they don't give a shit about those investment dollars. You know,
yes,
that's where the real investment is, where the real infrastructure is. And again, it's ebbs and flows, but these orgs are so massive and working on so many games have such a big reputation, and they've figured it out by now. I'm not worried. Like, think about all the salaries, all the teams.
Swelling.
Huh?
We're swelling. We're not bubbling. We're on the swell of the wave, and we'll come back down. Is that basically it?
For sure. I
we'll
think
go
so.
With that.
That's a good way to summarize it, bud.
I like it.
I just think that it's like the classic hysteria sells. I think negativity gets more clicks. I think if you're going to write an article,
of course,
esports is not in a bubble. Everything's great. No one gives a shit about that article. But people do give a shit about the doom and gloom of it's all coming crashing down. Prepare your resumes. Jobs are disappearing. Like, guys, it's not a recession. We're fucking good. Calm down. Stop tweeting me your shitty articles about how esports is about to explode. I got it. I got it. I don't know. Maybe that's wishful thinking, but I'm feeling pretty good. We just signed the biggest sponsor of our lives for Midas Mode 2. So from a Moonduck perspective, things are better than ever, Trent. Maybe I'm blinded.
You can't just tell the people that. Oh, my God.
Maybe I'm blinded by the light. Hey, I got to give them something. Slacks is going to be making some vlog content soon, but Midas Mode is seriously coming into focus. We got a little derailed at this TI9 event. I'm not going to lie. That put a little bit of a stop on some of the Midas Mode operations because we had to get our ducks in a row, figure out what the hell we're doing for this TI9 broadcast. And we are going to have some more details with that coming pretty soon. Suns fan was at Twitch Rivals, so that also stopped us from getting work done. Suns fan. Ugh. But I think that's it, dude. I don't know if we have anything else this week.
Bringing you Tencent Midas Mode.
Huh?
All right. Tencent Midas Mode. Oh, I'm not supposed to tell them the title sponsor? Sorry.
Tencent.
My bad.
We've sold Moonduck to the Chinese, dude. Can you imagine that? Oh, my God. I would love to see the Reddit comments.
That should be our April Fool's Day. Damn it. Next year. Write that down.
You're actually right. That would be so good. Moonduck bought by Tencent. Stock drops 5% on future predictions. Oh, God. All right. Well, we're out of here. We don't have too much else on the docket coming up. We cast, we play. I've just been enjoying games, playing games. I did finish the revised draft of the book, Trent. It's coming along. We're on to the final edits.
Oh, that's exciting.
The revised draft is done. At this point, hoping to have it done TI time before Midas Mode, somewhere around there. But it's actually coming together. I've got like a real draft you could read that tells a story. Feels good.
Wow, that's beautiful. I have to see if I have any of my typical recommendations for new games. I don't think I've really been playing much new. I'm just waiting on Smash and waiting on Baldur's Gate 3 now, which has been teased, supposedly going to be announced at E3, perhaps. That's exciting. I saw some people mentioning in the chat. I actually never played the Baldur's Gate games because I was not a PC gamer. And I did not, I don't know, they were just never introduced to me. So I'm kind of considering, I looked at the first one and I actually played around with it for a little bit. Wasn't that exciting, the first one. So I might play the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I've just been on the
actually straight up announced.
The Deep Space Nine hype train, dude. I'm like halfway through season 2. I'm still loving it. That has been
it's so good.
Eating up my life recently.
Have you seen the one where it talks about Odo when he is like first becomes an investigator? I know that was close to where we were both just watching.
I don't think so.
I think that's your next episode. That might have been my favorite episode so far, honestly.
Interesting. I'm starting to really like the characters. I'm like
show's good.
Falling in love with Cisco, and it's so wild because it does feel like TNG where they've got some of those similar tropes. You know, like you've got a kid. It's not Wesley, but it's Cisco's kid instead. But I like Nog, the Ferengi kid. I really like Quark. I really like Cisco. Kira is a little annoying, but she's growing on me. I love O'Brien. I don't really like O'Brien's wife that much. She's a little whiny for my taste, but that's okay. Keiko.
Yeah, I agree. Her character's very odd. She is I don't know if it's the actress or what about that character, but there's something off about that character. She's probably my least favorite.
Yeah, it feels very one-dimensional, just a little too like... Oh, like, I don't know. To me, it's one of those things like so far, she's complained a lot about the choices O'Brien has made for his career. And I just want to be like, dude, he's on Deep Space Nine. You're next to a fucking wormhole. Like, calm down. It's cool. It's a temporary assignment.
It's actually the character. It's true. Like, when you think about everything they've given that character, it's all complete trash.
Yeah. It's just like what are you complaining about? Like
her lines are pretty bad. She just has to whine all the time, and it's like, aren't you like a biologist next to like? Because she's like a plant botanist, right? And they're literally next to a wormhole that goes to an all new like quadrant that no one's ever been, and she could study every plant that comes through. And then they go, or you could be a teacher on the station. Like, how lame is that?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. All the other Starfleet personnel are pretty cool and with it, and she just seems like anti-Starfleet, even though she's married to a Starfleet officer. I don't get it. But anyway, I digress.
I also, one of the other ones was my favorite episode recently. The one where, I'm trying to remember what it was, but I remember what's that guy's name? Shit. He's the Cardassian who's on the station, the tailor. That episode where he is like
Garak.
putting the breadcrumbs for Bashir. Did you watch that one?
Yeah, that one's good.
That was a good episode. That was another one of my favorite ones I've seen, actually.
That one's good. So. Yeah, Bashir's good. I think he's a top-tier doctor compared to the other Star Treks I've seen. Dax is top of my list. I love the Dax character so much. The Trill concept is super fascinating. It's very, very cool, the idea, like, from a human perspective, unpacking that, like, symbiont type thing. And
yes. So if you haven't, highly recommend Deep Space Nine. Come watch it with us, guys. It's been great. If
you're a Star Trek fan, get on DS9. If you're like me and you love TNG, but you didn't really venture out too far, Deep Space Nine is top. I've just been role-playing like it's the 90s. Every night before I go to bed, I just turn that shit on. It's that 4:3 ratio, those shitty 90s graphics. I'm like, ooh, it's 98 all over again, dude. The new millennium's coming. I feel young. It's great. I love it. All right, gang. So we're out of here. You can find this podcast on Zyori.tv. You can find it on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, all those places. Podcasts are so accessible these days and also quite successful. Remember to support Rivalry.com as they support us. They help make this content possible. Find the link in Twitch chat there. It just went out. Or also that button under the Twitch stream. Get an account set up. Get over there on Rivalry and get some bets going. Play the Thunderdome.
Thanks, Rivalry.
Make it happen. We'll see you guys next time.